world of YouTube, tearful sight here. I had to go back into the story of Vicke Lee. What's her name? Lambarton. Lambarton. I'm saying that right. 3 photographs of this woman. One at the far right is the one that I was going over with the last video. But this has a little bit more information than what Unsolved Worcester had put out. This Vicke Lee, I mean, number one, I wonder if she had a little personality differential mental health problem. Because when I pulled this up, and as you can see, different versions of her, and it looks like she wears wigs. So that could most definitely be something of a personality disorder. Of course, when they claim that she wanted to change her color of skin black, let alone wanted to leave, go somewhere where no one knew her name and all this stuff. This is one insane story. One thing that the Unsolved Worcester forgets to mention, that her husband that she is with, that was with now, had problems with, and it's all in this article. They were separated from a month. She did want to try and get back with him, and she was going to meet up with him, but never showed up type thing. So, I mean, in between that time, who knows who she was with, or maybe even called and said, you know what, I'm going back to my husband. But what makes this story really unique in ways is that this husband doesn't mention in Unsolved Worcester that he was a professor. So not only did she marry a professor, supposedly cheated on her husband with a professor, the third guy, I believe in this article, says he was a professor. And for the second professor to say, I have no recollection of knowing her or whatever he was saying, but yet he had her clothing in his, apartment, house or whatnot, but yet he has a wife. The wife went off with him to Colorado. He checked into a hospital around this time of the disappearance for pneumonia or something. So for him to be with her, with this one, Vicke, could be, I did get the age wrong, I believe. I don't believe she was in her early 20s, but she was a little bit older than that. But I mean, whatever the case may be with her disorder that she had, I think, she wasn't at her right age. And there are people that do have that, and I believe it would be called intellectual disabilities because of the simple fact of they do not act the age they are. So, to give everybody an example, what types of mental health are out there, which I think she had also a multi-personality disorder. As you can see here, she's got 3 different wigs on. And these have to be wigs, because for her to change her hairstyle, as you can see here, and from red to blonde to brunette, them have to be wigs. And that's why I use the personality disorder type thing. Because of the simple fact that, she wanted to be different all around. She didn't want to be one person, obviously. And she definitely probably didn't want to be with one person. But whatever the case may be, she must have led another person on. And that's what caused her demise. But then again, you never know. I mean, here we have a family not caring too much about her because they say, oh, she was going to take off anyways and change her life. Well, that's why I say laws need to be changed. Because the Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie story, and them two having mental issues, not ready to take on the big world. Yeah, look what happened. And things need to change because, you know, when you get these type of people that cannot grow up responsibly, you know, take themselves into the real world, stuff like this happens. Disappearance, murder, so forth. It sucks to say. Some people, hey, it's nobody's problem. I mean, it's not a bad thing because it can be taken care of. And with the proper attention, it can be looked at. But when it's not, you know, when people are saying, oh, these people are old enough, they can do what they want, you know, that ain't the case. And that's what it's been for many, many years. And you can just imagine how many people get picked up through kidnapping. And, you know, to think they have mental, you know, health problems. And they don't think right. They don't do right. And that's that. That's how these vulnerable people get picked up. Common sense. It's just sick to say, and sad to say, but that's what happened. And I think this woman here had some issues. And I mean, right, to break up with her husband, I'm leaving, and then say, I want you back. I mean, there's some conflict going on there in the mind. The mind is unstable. The mind is not level right with mental health. So I'm going on this fact that she did obviously meet foul play. And I do believe that she met up with the wrong man, pissed him off, and wound up dead. Especially if she was going to say, oh, I'm going back to my husband. So with that being said, and you know, whatever she had with obsessions with professors, very intelligent men. And one more thing in this story that is insane, that is in this article. The detective found a woman, same name, I want to say same looks, almost the same, you know, almost the same birth date, and one number off with the Social Security number. And but the woman assured him that, you know, this is not her. I am not that person. And not only that, and that woman lived in Missouri. This woman came from another state. See if I can find it real quick. And she, Vicke Lee, supposedly called her family home where she was born and raised. And also there was reports of her being in Maine, other reports of her being in other states, you know, or even maybe a country, but hey, get over here. All right, shut up, Ted. And where was it? She grew up in small Kansas town of Harper. Shut up. Damn dog. So she is originally from Harper, Kansas. And she wanted to leave. And she lived on the farm. So you get these people, right? These kids that grow up on farms. And I mean, Kansas. I mean, all types of farmland out there. You can just imagine what their dreams and hopes are, but living on a farm sometimes leads you to isolation. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, some people love that. Some people can handle it, but other people, when you're living on a farm, you wake up in the morning early to rise, early to bed. John Denver song, you know. You do the same type of thing each day, every day, and run that farm. And yeah, some people just crack under pressure. And I'm sure that's what this woman did. It goes on to say here that she was ashamed of her upbringing, which who knows what her parents probably did to her. You know, I'm not saying they did. These are just thoughts, theories, ideas. You don't know what the family life was. So she moved away and somehow managed to get into Worcester. But as you can see, she was all spiraling out of control. Because, right, she's with one man, then she's with another man, and then she wants to be with another man. It's just a crazy, insane thing. But, however, she was raised out there. You know, it could have been a good life. I can't say it was bad. I mean, I'd have to dig a little deeper in history, and I don't know if I can get all that, but one thing that happened, though, is that she called the family farm, and she told them that she was moving to Europe. Oh, I'm going to Europe. But this was documented and checked into and never found any records of her leaving or being in Europe. So that, to me, and that's the thing. If this was a woman that literally called this house, then what makes you think that this professor, the second professor, or maybe even the third professor, him and his wife like to do these type of crazy, insane things, like snatch up women, bring them on a trip, rape them, kill them, bury them, whatever. I think that's what happened. Because this woman's calling up and saying, oh, I'm moving to Europe. So, she, you know, everybody gets a handle on her, Vicke, and say, oh, she's all right. She's just living her dream and wanting to get out of this small town. But if that is the case, obviously that wasn't her that made that call. So that only leads me to believe that either this second professor with his wife killed this woman, or even maybe the third person killed this woman. So, all in all, but the second professor had her clothes. Then he don't have no recollection. So here we go once again. Where's this lie detector? How about take a damn lie detector? How about DNA taken from these people just in case? But as you can see, she's probably out there in the mountains of Colorado. And Colorado, I can tell you right now, is one of the best, I would say, places to even consider of murdering someone, because you can, you can throw them off the tops of the mountains and have all that space out there to, you know, get rid of a body. Colorado would be the place, even though Kansas would be too, because it's more isolated out there west. But all in all, what do you think? So I mean, with this phone call, this bizarre phone call, and, you know, this supposedly affair with a professor, 3 professors, and the husband believes she's still alive, but I mean, he does sound in a way that he could not be involved, but why am I hearing goddamn noises? Oh, someone's down there, never mind. But you never know. You never know. I mean, the family trusted this husband. The family's on the same page with the husband, just because this woman wanted to do things. But yet, never kept in contact. And just that one phone call was placed and still never heard of again. So now in 2010, many years later, then they put the file, the missing report. I mean, I would have filed it after that phone call, even before the phone call. I would have filed a freaking missing report after the first year. Even sooner, because obviously, right, people didn't have a handle on this stuff back then. Nobody can tell what was wrong with someone, or if they were losing their minds, or let alone if they were even stable enough to be out in the big, wide open. So, with that being said, this poor woman, I believe, is dead. She will never come back. And only the people that were around her at the time knows where she is, and that would be the second professor. But he has no resurrection of this, so there's the word, resurrection. But I think that's all crock of shit. Because he had her clothes, and he might have had an alibi, but that alibi could have been involved too. And who knows, they're probably long gone dead by now, but if they are still alive, or if any of them, I'd be most definitely looking into their past in this, who knows, this vacation spot could be looked at. There could be blood there. That one key thing of luminol could be scattered around this place. But it seems like no one has no intentions of pursuing this second professor. And no one knows who the third professor is, so that's just out of the question. But that's where I would be right now, checking out everything about this second professor. But that's just me. And who knows if they ever thought of this, because to me it sounds like they didn't. So all in all, folks, I wanted to throw that all in, because another article came up, and Unsolved Worcester did not mention some of this stuff, like the third professor, and But until the next video, folks, be safe and always beware and take care. You don't know when this next psychopath will be up there waiting for anybody. Hell, even me.